YouTube, what's going on? It's Mesa back at it with some Destiny 2. In this video, we're going to go over every single public event and how to trigger the heroic version of it. This is mainly aimed at PC folks. PC folks will be coming on board this week, and public events are going to be something you're going to want to do, specifically the heroic version. Now, every public event you could just do normally, but you want to trigger the heroic version. The heroic version not only is going to give you better loot, chance at exotic engrams, chance at legendary engrams, increase your power level, but you're going to get a boatload of XP. This is going to be critical when leveling up your character and trying to get to level 20. When I was leveling up my characters, once all the destinations were unlocked, that's when I started farming all these public events and really trying to make sure every one of them was heroic. Now, if you happen to have some sort of XP booster, which can come from a variety of sources, you've got Pop-Tarts, you've got other things, whatever, the amount of XP is going to be ridiculous. If you just do a normal public event, I think you get about 1,300, 1,500 XP. However, if you have one of those boosters going and you do a public event on heroic, that's going to be a whopping 3,000. So you can level up your character really, really quickly. I would wait till you get to about level 13 or 14. Once all the destinations are open, then start going and just finding all the public events. So what you want to do is open up your director and take a look at the various destinations. It's going to mark where the public events are and the timer. That one there is going to start in 54 seconds. There's a landing zone right there too. This one is already active, so I might not want to go there. I want to go to one where I could just fly in, see that it's going to be active in about a minute or so, wait for guardians to show up, because some you could do solo, but when you're lower level, you want to get in there with a bunch of people. Then when you find a public event that you want to do, you got to go rally the flag. And when you rally the flag, you're going to get your super, you're going to get your abilities, and it's going to refill your ammo, including your power ammo. This is going to come in handy here, because a lot of times, sometimes if you go into a public event and it's already started, you don't have your super, you don't have power ammo. So you want to fly into a public event that's going to start in maybe a minute or two, rally the flag, get your super, get your ammo, and wait for other guardians to show up. Because remember, we want to trigger the heroic versions, and usually you need a couple of guardians around to help you out. So let's kick this off with the Cabal Excavation, and I will timestamp in the description all the different public events if you want to skip to them. So in this one, you're overriding a mining lander. So you're standing in the middle here, and you can see this little circle and a progression there, but I'm jumping out of the way because there's a Cabal ship that's above that's dropping down rockets on you. As soon as the rockets are gone, go back in and stand in the middle there, and you're going to see that progression filling up. So while you're standing there, you're overriding the mining lander. And as you do, Cabal are just going to keep dropping in trying to kill you. However, once you hit about 30, 35%, a ship is going to fly in. You need to destroy that ship. Destroying that ship, that's going to trigger the heroic event. Now, I like to use a scout rifle, auto rifle, and a rocket launcher when I'm doing this public event. Scout rifle is going to do some nice damage, and if you get up close to the ship, you can hit it with a rocket. Now, if you do not destroy the ship, don't worry, the ship will come back around again. But it will come back around again when you hit about 70% of overriding the mining lander. However, here you can see we get it right at the last second. So you want to try to get this thing out and done as quick as possible. As soon as you blow that ship up, then one of these big old Cabal yellow bars is going to come. You just waste him, and then you've completed your heroic public event for the excavation. Next up is the Fallen Weapons Exchange. So you're going to see 3 different bubbles here, and they have scorch cannons in the middle. When this thing kicks off, you're going to see a bunch of Fallen come in, just kill them, and then a Fallen Walker is going to drop down from the sky. Now, to normally complete this public event, you simply want to kill the Fallen Walker. You shoot its legs, which will then expose the brain, shoot the brain, and then the Fallen Walker dies. However, to trigger the heroic version, every time you expose the brain, these little charges come out. You want to go over to each one of these bubbles, and on each side, you want to put these or deposit these charges into them. However, you want to be careful here, because if you kill the Fallen Walker too quickly, then it doesn't trigger the heroic public event. So you're going to be laying into the legs here, and you're going to expose the brain again. Now, once again, those charges are going to come out the front. You want to run over and deposit those to where the scorch cannons are. Once all the scorch cannons are free, because every time you deposit one of those things on each side, the scorch cannons are free. Once all of them are free, that's going to trigger the heroic event. Now you're going to have 2 Fallen Walkers to kill. The main one that you're already doing damage to, and then another one is going to fall back. So you want to do is grab your scorch cannon and just start laying into both of them. Now, if you're new to Destiny 2, if you're on PC, here's how scorch cannons work. So you're going to shoot a scorch cannon off, but you're holding down the trigger that you just fired it at. You want to keep holding it and holding it and holding it until it just explodes on its own. The longer that you hold the trigger while that Scorch Cannon blast is sitting on the Fallen Walker, the more damage it's going to do. And when the brain is not exposed, you want to go for the legs. The legs have those little lights in them. That's where you want to shoot your Scorch Cannon. So I just popped the tether there just to deal with the ads. But yeah, when the brain is not exposed, you want to shoot at the legs. When the brain is exposed, you want to shoot at the brain because that's where it's going to do a lot more damage. Then once you kill both of the Fallen Walkers, you've just completed your heroic public event. I should have mentioned before, some of the public events, you could trigger them solo heroic and you could finish them solo. But for the most part, you want to wait until there's a bunch of Guardians around or maybe go in with a fire team. Next up is the Glimmer Extraction. This one's a fun one and a fairly easy one to trigger the heroic. So, Fallen are coming in, they want to get some Glimmer. So, they're going to go to 3 different areas that are pretty close to each other. Each time they go to an area, see this thing I'm shooting at right here? That thing is extracting Glimmer. You want to blow that thing up. And you can see here, I'm like the only one shooting at it because I think the people around me don't realize it. Every time they go to a new spot, you got to blow this thing up. Once you blow that up 3 times for the 3 different areas, that's going to trigger the heroic. Now, once you trigger the heroic, you're going to have a point that you need to defend, and that's where this big pile of Glimmer is going to be. You just want to stand on it, and hopefully you've got a number of Guardians around there because you're going to get swarmed by ads. There's going to be yellow bars, there's going to be shanks, all sorts of stuff. And then one big old yellow bar captain is going to come to also kill you. But you just stand on here. If you got a number of Guardians over here, this one's a real easy one and a lot of fun to do. Next up is the injection rig. So, what you want to do is kill one of these infiltrator scions, and as soon as you kill it, you want to start looking up and wait for one of the vents to open. Now, when the vent opens, you're going to start taking damage, but don't worry. As soon as the vent opens, shoot it with a rocket, and then maybe hit it with your primary. As soon as you see the vent blow, back out of there, okay? If you stay in there, you will die. After destroying 3 of the vents, that's what's going to trigger the heroic public event. So basically 3 rounds, right? Every time a scion or yellow bar is going to come in, you want to kill that thing. Once it's killed, then all of a sudden one of the vents is going to open up. You're going to take damage, so try to shoot a rocket at it or shoot it with your primary. Once you do that 3 times and blow 3 of the vents, then it's triggered as heroic, and then a big old Cabal is going to come out, and you got to kill him. Now, quick pro tip, you see me using the same rocket launcher in most of these clips. Pro tip, if you're new to Destiny 2 on PC, level up the Vanguard by doing strikes and seeing Zavala, and you will get this rocket, well, hopefully you'll get this rocket launcher called the Curtain Call. It's got cluster bombs. Now, the Raid rocket launcher is better, but if you can't get the Raid rocket launcher, try to grind and do strikes and get enough tokens to turn into Zavala and eventually get the Curtain Call. Next up is the Witch's Ritual. Now, you're going to see 2 Hive Witches, one on the left, one on the right. They have shields. What you need to do is stand on a plate. I'm standing on the one that's on the right side. There's 2. There's one on the left, one on the right. The longer you stand on the plate, the witch's shield will eventually come down, and then they could start taking damage. So here I'm standing on the right-hand side. That right-hand witch can start taking damage. I'm going to kill that witch. Now, once you kill the 2 witches, look up in the top left and right-hand corners. You're going to see a little crystal here with an immunity shield. Just wait a few seconds, and as soon as you can see them taking damage, you want to shoot those as quick as possible. That's going to trigger the heroic public event. Once you do that, a boatload of Thrall are going to come out, and then if you remember Destiny the Taken King, the Darkblade, a big old Hive Knight that kind of looks just like Darkblade, comes out and you're going to kill him. Sometimes there's 2 of them. I don't get it. Sometimes there's 1, sometimes there's 2. Maybe it's just my game glitching out. But sometimes, you know what, 2 of them come out, we kill one of them, and it says you completed the public event, and the other one's just wandering around. But either way, yeah, there's 2 of them, right? Kill these 2 and you've completed your public event on heroic mode. I also wanted to mention when you're out and about and you're waiting for your public events, you're going to run into these things called high value targets. Basically, if you see any big old yellow bar, kill that thing and you get to get a chest. Normally, it's just planetary tokens and some Glimmer. I'm not 100% sure, but if you're early on, if you're new to Destiny 2, playing on PC, you might be able to get some blue gear, but I'm not 100% sure. Every time I've killed one of these things, I usually just get a planetary token and I get some Glimmer. But just keep in mind, when you're out and about waiting for public events, just look around and you'll find them. Next up is the Taken Blight, the dreaded Taken Blight. To me, this one's the easiest to trigger to make it heroic, but it's frustrating because a lot of folks don't know how to do it. So you want to destroy that thing that's in the middle to trigger it. Here's what's going to happen. See this little bubble that I jump in? I'm going in and out and in and out. When I go in, I get a little bit of a buff and I can do damage to the Taken Blight in the middle. If I just try to shoot that Blight in the middle without dipping into that bubble, I'm not going to do any damage to it. But what gets frustrating is the bubble that I'm dipping into, there's a lot of ads. And you can actually destroy those little bubbles there, but you don't want to do that. You want to keep dipping in and out of that little bubble, and then eventually, once you destroy the Blight in the middle, then all of a sudden just a huge Taken boss is going to spawn in, again, kill him, and then you've completed your heroic Taken Blight public event. Next up is the Ether Supply. Now, a big old Servitor is going to come down in the middle. He's going to take a lot of damage. As soon as you start laying into him, this little side Servitor is going to come and make him immune. You want to kill that thing as soon as possible, then you can go back in and start laying damage into the big old Servitor. And you can see I died there. I was by myself, so I actually soloed this one. Not many people on the European Dead Zone at 4:30 a.m. on a Friday night. Anyway, you want to kill that little Servitor, and then now you can do damage to the big Servitor. Also, take some time to clear out some ads. But if you're here with a bunch of Guardians, this is one of the easiest public events. So when the big Servitor's health gets down enough, 3 of those little Servitors are going to spawn in. You got to kill those Servitors as quickly as possible. There they are right now. So I give them a quick tether, and I'm going to lay into them with my rocket launchers and also Sweet Business, the exotic auto rifle. As soon as I kill all 3 of those, now it becomes heroic. And to complete the heroic, you simply want to just kill the Servitor. But once you trigger the heroic, a lot more ads are going to spawn in. And also, it seems like the Servitor could just take more damage. I mean, I'm laying into it with Sweet Business, and you can see it's not doing very much damage. But I'm able to solo it myself using Sweet Business and the Raid Rocket Launcher, and it all is good. But this one's a fun one and really easy if there were other Guardians around. Lastly, we have the Disrupt the Vex Construction. Now, you definitely cannot solo this one. And with 2 people, it sometimes can be kind of difficult here. So here's what's going to happen. Right in the middle, a whole bunch of Vex, they're going to be trying to like sacrifice themselves into this middle thing. So what you want to do is you want to just hold them off. You can see on the left-hand side it says 10 out of 10. That's the number of Vex that have sacrificed themselves. So right now, no one has gotten in. When it reaches 0 out of 10, you failed the event. So you can see here, I'm by myself standing on the plate, and it says capturing. So I got to get that plate to 100%. When you're doing this event, there's going to be 3 plates not too far away from the middle. When you capture all 3 at 100%, that triggers the heroic event. Now, luckily, some Guardians show up to the rescue, and then we are able to complete the heroic event. One thing to note is when you're standing on these plates, you got to get it to 100%. And also, you got to be careful because this one Vex yellow bar keeps spawning over and over. And when you kill it, it drops like an area of effect damage right when you kill it. This guy right here, yeah, all right. As soon as we kill him, you don't want to stand in that area. So I see another Spire form there, so I'm going to run over and start forming that one there. And once again, these yellow bars keep coming over and over. But the good thing about it is that they're going to drop heavy. So once you form all 3 of these and you've captured all 3 of these, I guess I'll call them sync plates because I think it's what they're called. Here I am just going back to check and like, was this thing done? No, it's not. You're going to see it start forming again, but it's at 90%. So basically, you got 3 sync plates. Once you form all of them and they hit 100%, that's going to trigger the heroic event. And once you trigger it, just all hell breaks loose. You're going to get yellow bars galore. You're going to get Cyclopses. You're going to get Vex Hydra yellow bars with arc shields and so forth. And just hold them all off from getting to the middle. And that's it. You're done with your heroic public event for the Vex Construct or Vex Construction. Hey, Babel modes engaged. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor. Drop a like in this video only if you see fit. Follow me on Twitter at Mesa Sean. Check out my stream, usually and always on YouTube. And that's it. I am out of here like Vladimir.